Today, we are celebrating Hispanic Heritage Month, honoring some of our showbiz Latino heroes, but we also wanted to share some of the thoughts our Latino icons had to say about Hispanic Heritage Month in general, good and bad and indifferent.
I wish that it didn't exist because, Latinos are the fastest growing minority in the United States. I don't know what the population demographics are changing now with the COVID, but according to the census, by 2045, we're going to be about a quarter of the population. And yet, Latinos remain pretty much invisible in mainstream media. And I've been at this for 20 years. And the reason why I started my company was because I felt the Latinos were invisible and Latinos had an image problem with mainstream media. And for a while, it seemed as though we had made some progress, but we've lost all that progress. And now we're back to zero. So Hispanic Heritage Month, it's great. Let's celebrate it. Let's celebrate our culture. Let's celebrate the contributions that we've made and we continue to make to this country, to make this country great. But let's have Hispanic Heritage Month be every month because our contributions cannot be denied.
Hispanic Heritage Month is very important because it's a celebration of who we are and who we need to be. It's not just a celebration of the independence of Mexico. We're more than that. Latinos in this country are more than Chicanos or Puerto Ricans or Cubans or Hondurans or Colombians. We can be a power if we can figure out how to unite. That's why I think the right show is going to bring everyone together.
It shouldn't be like two halves of a month. Like, really? Like, is it September 15th to October 15th, right?
Yes.
Oh, I think it's great. I mean, we're celebrating ourselves. Yes. We always talking about the support, how can Latinos be more in Hollywood and all that. And I always say the same thing. Man, we need more producers, more writers, more directors, Latinos, especially who borrow money from family, who max out credit cards, but he does his own thing. We need to do our own projects. Look at you doing this. Isn't this amazing?
It all boils down to just equal rights and visibility. That's all. And that's not asking for anything special.
It was needed and it still serves a purpose. It was done in the 60s where Latinos were really gaining inroads during that time, not just as citizens of the U.S., but also because of the turmoil that was happening in the U.S. And you had the Brown Berets on the East Coast, you had the Young Lords here, you had the Black Panthers. And I think, people were fighting for the fact that we wanted to have our own cultures and contributions to the American fiber recognized. Hispanic Heritage Month started out as a week and then got expanded. We don't stop being Hispanic. I mean, we're Hispanic the whole year. It gives the country a time to pause and say, this is the fabric of our nation and this is who these folks are. And it's our time to say, yeah, they're good, bad, or indifferent. This is who I am.
Why isn't there a Caucasian month? Why do we have to have that? As Americans, we're all mixed together. You know what I'm saying? I don't feel we need to celebrate in that way. But at the same time, I don't know. For me, that's a complicated question, to be very honest with you. I just feel that right now in the industry, for us especially, we just need to start creating more and start producing more.
I think it's honoring who we are as a people. I love to celebrate life. I love to celebrate each other. And that's what 11/11 is. It's also a celebration of who we are as individuals and as communities. We're all one spirit, but we're also unique. And there's people from Spain and England and Mexico and Colombia and India. And so we congregate online every morning with an international community, and it's just beautiful to celebrate each other. For me, I think that it's fun to celebrate our heritage. It's our month, and it's my birthday month. And so it's like a party, celebrating, honoring, remembering those that are no longer with us but left their legacy, and teaching our children who they were and teaching our children that, look, this is possible. So it's a beautiful thing.
We haven't institutionalized anything. I hate the word Hispanic. Latino heritage is different. Hispanic is a federal word that was made up somewhere. For those who would rather identify with Spain, they love that. I think that Latino heritage is where we need to go with this.
I would like to see more decision makers that are Latinx, because it's great. The changes that are happening, I'm all for them. And I think that it's great that we have more showrunners that are Latinas. Hopefully, like you said, more writers in the writing room, because the writing, it has to be true and it can't be stereotypes, and it can't be marginalizing people even more.
We started sofritofriasoul.com on the premise that every month is Latino Heritage Month. I never use Hispanic Heritage Month, Latino Heritage Month for me. I didn't like it. I never liked it. I think that it's too limiting. I don't think it's not even a month. It's 2 weeks in one month and 2 weeks in the other. I think that I would like to see a point where we didn't have to have a Latino Heritage Month. That Latino heritage was so ingrained in our curriculum, that is so ingrained in the arts and the community and everything, that we wouldn't have to specify a time where we should learn about it.
I love being Hispanic, period. In a month, in a year, and I'm like, thank God I'm Latin. Thank you. I love it. I love it being bicultural. I mean, having these two cultures run parallel in my life has been just wonderful, because I can switch from one place to the other. You know, I can be in the United States, I can be in Latin America, I can be in Europe. You know, it's just fabulous.
To celebrate our culture, to celebrate other Latino groups, I never understood why it started halfway in the month. I don't know the answer to that. I'm hoping somebody can tell me. Oh, Hispanic Heritage Month. Quick, the 15th. Let's just do it now, you know? And Latinos are like, all right, well, okay, I'll take it. I celebrate us, you know, all year round. I think it's cool we have a month to do it, but I think it's great to celebrate it all the time. And I'm happy that we have a month to do that, you know, and to be open to other cultures, because we're not just one big chunk.
Are we repeating everything that hasn't worked for Hispanics, you know, for Latinos, like the same history? What are we doing new? Are we just going to do a cultural dance and pass out some food? Or is it an organizing event that shows our power and our challenges and what actions we're going to take? There should be to galvanize that energy for Hispanic Heritage Year. What are we going to accomplish or propose a set of goals that we want to accomplish that year as Latinos, Hispanic, Latinx, whatever we want to call ourselves. And one of them, which I think is important, is unity, because we come from different countries and some of these countries don't like each other, right? But we find ourselves here in the United States being pushed together, put in a box together, like they selling us as the same product, which is why Hollywood has issues. And there's a couple of things, you know, some of the things just class, right? Working class is working class. If we connect more through class, I think we'll lose the issues of nationality.
All I can think about is my mother. I grew up in Colombia. I lived in Colombia 10 years of my life. And my mom was so adamant about giving us who we were, being proud of being Colombianos, our heritage. So for us, it's never been Heritage Month for me. I've lived in my pride all my life. My mom always had a ballet from Colombia. She's always thrown shows about the culture. So if you go to my mom's house, it's balcones, you see everything artesanías from Colombia. For me, I've grown in heritage years, because for me, it's not Heritage Month. My mom gave me the incredible honor of being raised in a culture that I love. Being Latino for me I love it. But I also was born in the United States, so I got the best of both worlds, and to honor both cultures. Mm-hmm. And that's what I think when you say that to me. I just think of my mom. She gave me the honor of being a Latino. Our population is almost half in California. It's like 35% in Texas. In all the major states and cities, you have large Latino populations that are pretty much running the economy. You cannot go to a hotel, you cannot go to a restaurant, you cannot go to any service jobs without finding a majority of Latinos working there. I'd like to see this country run day to day without Latino help. We wouldn't run. That's what mainstream America needs to recognize. They need to recognize that we contribute, we make this country run, and we deserve respect and dignity. And if we can't get it, we're going to grab it.
We just need to come together and be a force and stop wanting to be somebody else that we aren't, and be proud of who we are and who our parents were and our grandparents. I can't be more prouder of my parents and grandparents and my ancestors who did so much to build this country. On my Facebook, I posted a picture of my dad, World War II. I have uncles who died in the war for this country, and coming together as Latinos. It's about all of us.
It sort of doesn't make any sense. It should just be September or October, or just whatever month they want to pick. It's not even that I'm holding anything back. I don't know what to say. I really don't. I'm like, it's half of September, half of October. I don't even know if there are specific holidays in it. Like, I know the only Latino holiday, I think, is Grito de Lares. I think it's September 23rd. Yeah, it's like silly to have half of 2 months, whatever.
If you're Cubana, we don't support the Mexicans, we don't support the Salvadorians, we don't support the Argentinians. Not until we are supporting each other. Don't ask me for comp tickets. I have never asked anyone never to give me a comp ticket. If I cannot afford it, I don't go. But I'm always supporting my friends all the time. Latinos don't support each other. Not until we do that and we gather together, we support each other, nada va a pasar.
And I'll tell you something that annoys me, and I hope I don't get in trouble, but I'm sorry. I'm sick of hearing diversity, people of color. They don't mean brown people. They mean black people. They do. I'm not saying that's terrible at all, but don't say people of color.
Right.
Because they're not including us in that.
No, it's unfortunate also that we're in a time where a lot of that stuff is like, where people could be celebrating every diversity that we inherently and innately have inside of us. People are like trying to negate them or beat them back, and it's an unfortunate time. That's not going to stop us from celebrating our own contributions and our own idiosyncratic cultural identities. And I'm sorry, man, you can bite a bullet on that one, but I'm not going anywhere, and I'm not going to stop being who I am because you can't pronounce it. I'm sorry.
Hispanic heritage, like, that causes a divide because, there's so many different titles to separate us, you know what I mean? So then that doesn't even connect us. That doesn't unify us. Like, we're just given this, like, oh yeah, here's your month to celebrate you, when in reality, it doesn't feel real. It doesn't feel good. It just doesn't feel right to me. We should celebrate, but at the same time, it shouldn't be set up the way it's set up, in my opinion.
The Latinx thing is another thing I don't like. It is part of this polyglot, part of this doublespeak. If you want to include gays and you want to include men and women, so you don't have to say Latino or Latina, just say these are Latin people. I'm just against it. I think we have enough confusion concerning identity. Why do we have to add to it by bringing in everything from gender to belly buttons? Doesn't make sense to me. But then again, that's me. I'm from a different generation. Latinx is, I think, diminutive of who we are as a people. It impersonalizes us. I think Latinx sounds like a robot. I don't want to be a robot.
The people that are the decision makers, if they're not Latinos themselves, they need to care about that. They need to really care and not just be doing it because they think that that's the moda, that's the style right now, is to, to give people more visibility. I think we have a ways to go. I'm encouraged by the programs that, like, Tanya Saracho and Gloria Calderon, like, they're putting, people in the writer's room. They're putting people in programs to develop writers. They're giving people the opportunity to direct. They're doing all the things that you need to do. And I just hope there's some way to accelerate that.
I'm not really a big fan, to be honest with you. I get why people are doing it, and I always encourage kids to learn and whatnot, but I'm not a fan of it for historical reasons.
When the word Latino started to come into play, I know a lot of different groups are like, well, no, I'm Puerto Rican. No, I'm Mexican. I'm Dominican. I don't know what this Latino thing is. Eventually, you start hearing the word Hispanic and then Latinx. I think it's great that we have the month to celebrate each other. Yeah, I think it's cool. I think we should have Hispanic Heritage Year. How about that? We'll start a campaign.
Working class, Puerto Rican, Dominican, Guatemalan, Ecuadorian is working class. They have the same issues. But as long as I'm Guatemalan, I eat corn and tortillas. Tortillas corn. Then somebody else, no, I eat flour. We're different. Those things separate us. Instead of saying, well, let's mix them to see what we have. Or I like yours too. I could have two kinds of tortillas. It's a class thing if we want to get together. And we're on this boat that's leaking water. We're gonna drown if we don't all do our jobs. In situations where things are celebrated, we're in trouble. I think we will always be subdivided into these subcultures. We won't be able to accomplish what we wish to accomplish. And then we have the other thing, the Latinos who do go to school and get the higher education, they go into the white world and they leave our communities because of class and because they weren't wanted. We get into this whole cycle of rejection. How do we do the opposite of rejection? How do we accept and embrace each other? For me, it's political. It comes from class. That be that we have a class war right now that the wealthy is waging on us, and we're losing because we're not aware of it. Because you read the newspaper, they go, well, so and so wants to have a class war. No, we are in a class war.